What's up, good peoples? I deeply apologize for the tardiness. We had some technical difficulties with the computer, but at any rate, we're gonna start the evening off on a good note because we always got some positive things to talk about. We always got good people in the audience as well as on the stage, and I'm quite sure that by now y'all getting used to seeing Mr. LeGrand and Mr. Campbell, better known as Mr. A. Um, Always a pleasure to have you join me, man.
Likewise. I
We
enjoy you,
did
brothers.
we did have a host that came down with some cold or some type of sickness, so we couldn't bring him on, but we'll bring him back next week with the fabulous information that he want to share with us. So, gentlemen,
What's up?
hope y'all had a fabulous week. I know just based on being in contact with both of y'all, we moving in the right direction in this space. Um, some things happened this week, and it's about programming. It's about reinvesting in the community, and it's about reaching back, picking people up from where they are and helping them get to where they want to be. I'm still a work in progress, just like the two of you all are, and I don't, just because we do this live podcast, I don't come on here like I'm some type of genius, because I'm far from it. I still got a lot of flaws and I still got a lot of work that I gotta do. But happen to have a meeting, and I talked to both of y'all about this today with a young gentleman who has a organization that's beneficial in our space. And I'm a kind of chime I'm a bring in the experience that me and Alexander had last night. I hope that the people from Prince George's County don't take this as a negative and don't take this the wrong way. But we behind. We literally behind other areas that are doing things in this justice impact space, truancy impact space, mental health space. Like, we really behind. And as I talk to both of y'all throughout the day, we always seem to agree on certain things that is happening or not happening. The funds is there, is out there. You just gotta put yourself in position to be able to get them. Like, you gotta be ready before somebody come and say, I need you. And we all know that. I wanted the young man to come on tonight to share what was going on in his life, because me and Alexander was with him, and I don't want to steal his glory, but he recognized that programming and having a mentor actually works. And that was one of the things that the CEO of CPAC wanted to stress. Like, is programming really working? And I can say, yeah, it is. Just based on what this young man is experiencing now. Even myself, I could say it's working, because the things that are coming my way, the doors that are opening, the things that we talk about, the space that we in, we're seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Where our energy goes, that's what we getting back. So, um, you know, just based on some of the things that you and I have discussed over the last couple of days or weeks, Gene, I would like for you to come in and share your take on the the understanding of how the programs can be benefit for our people in Prince George's County.
Yeah, so we're dealing with students or youth have been in that's been getting in trouble, at risk, or justice involved. And a lot of times that a lot of people don't know exact, they don't have any information resources, anybody coming in and telling them that there's another option. So the only option they got is to commit a crime or whatever their friends are doing, because that's their limitation and what they know. But there are programs out here, even through this program, to kind of support them in getting to where it is actually career. And what do you mean by career? Okay, you find something you love to do, and you build on that, and you make a living off of that. And if it's a job, maybe you like to work with your hands. So working in, as a trade may be good for you. But if you don't like working with your hands and you want to work with computers, you like to use your brain, then there's options for that as well. But if you do nothing, then you miss out on opportunities where if you can make $60,000 in some trades, or you can make more if you want to start your own business. But what we've been talking about all week was trying to get justice involved and youth at risk into drones, a career in drones, or a career in EV maintenance or technician. Then there's AI, being a data systems engineer. You can easily make, just with knowing how to do it. You need a lot of these positions. You don't even have to go to college for. All you got to do is be willing to go in there and learn. And either through the state, probably the federal government, there's options where you can learn for free. But once you learn it and you get a certificate, there's some many jobs out here that will pay, especially in IT, where they will pay you $100,000 a year, $500,000 a year, and based on your experience. And so in our program, Old Mill Foundation, CPAC, we're thinking about the future. We're looking at, okay, yeah, you had trauma. Yeah, you've had, you got in situations. Yeah, you still mad from 20 years ago or 10 years ago, but now it's time, you can now move forward past that. Before you couldn't move past because you didn't know anything. Now we say, okay, here's an opportunity to get past that, and you don't have to be, you can actually make your own life the way you wanted to live. Do what you want to do and still not have to worry about where your money's coming from, and enjoy your job.
Okay. I hope that the audience followed you, because you definitely make a valid point. Like we was talking just a few days ago, and as we delved into this space, into this technology pathway, which is something that you've been on way longer than I have, and as we start looking at other ethnicities and other countries doing the same things we talking about, and the youth, the young kids are grasping this at age 3, age 4, age 5, and it is a part of programming. You know what I'm saying? Because they being programmed to be successful at a young age, where as though our community, we have a different approach. I was on the subway yesterday going in town, and I see this lady come on the subway with her baby. Baby can't even walk, but the baby got on some Air Jordans. And now that I understand things a whole lot better than I used to, I'm like, that baby don't even know what Air Jordans is. You want the baby to have them on. But is the baby going to get what the baby need in, let's say, 3 to 5 years, so that the baby is not caught up in the truancy cycle? Is the baby going to get what it needs, so it's not caught up in the
chaos,
damages of what normally happen when we grow up in them situations or those environments that produce incarceration, justice impact youth. So getting back to the programming, and we know Chief been doing this for 20 plus years. So while he has a really good understanding of the trajectory of it, and you and I come in a little later on in life, I just think that I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the meeting you went to the other night when they're offering programming and they're offering training, but wasn't nobody in the meeting. Wasn't enough people in there to receive the information to know what's going on in the community. So programming work, and the training is available. We just got to get the information out to the right people. Alexander,
Yes, sir.
you like a beat cop when it comes to them youngins out there. So what do you think the best approach that will work for us to get more people like Geo in line, or I'm gonna call him Tez because that's what he said his name was, that's going to Columbia University? Like, how can we get more of them to receive the information that we're trying to disseminate to them?
Okay, you talking about Big Wop. You talking about
Big Wop.
Deontay. Tez for somebody else. One, you had to give them belief. Again, you got to walk some of these dudes because they never had the opportunity to be with somebody that actually, showed them the type of care that they need. And that's where the biggest challenge is. And when, usually it's when they get in trouble that you get the opportunity to show them, or when there's challenges and they're like dealing with the truancy programs, where you can have those one-on-ones because they're going to observe you. They're going to watch you. They're not going to really study you, but they're going to watch you, how you interact with others, how you interact with them, until they feel free enough to be able to say, hey, because, as we were speaking earlier about the mask, a lot of us wear a mask and don't even know we got the mask on. And that's just real. A lot of us, because we have so many personalities. And, some of us, it's really unfortunate because when we talk about our identity, if you ask a person a lot of time, who are you? They're not going to give you an answer. What is the meaning of your name? What kind of name were you blessed with? They don't even know. So they don't have an identity to rely on. And so you have to correct all of those things and give them that belief so they can have faith. And a lot of times they haven't run across that because unfortunately they're coming up in single parent homes. And, and a lot of times they're accused of the mothers. But a lot of us as dudes, we faulty because we're not stepping up to do the things we need to do for ourselves to become the men that we are capable of being. So when it comes to those youngers and bringing them into that light in them educational spaces, a lot of times it's going to take you an idea to show them how to do the drones, because that looks like fun. That's something that they know how to do, how to race those little drone cars or the dogs or something to that effect, because in their mind, they can say, man, that's cool. Right. I can do that too. So that's an attractive thing that y'all have. And that's a door opener. So you can educate them on the fact that, man, you can do this. All you got to do is learn it. Learn this or that. And we probably have to give them a little extra as far as what the material means. They're not going to read on a college level. So we got to break that thing down a little bit more, but it's okay. Because a lot of us, we're not going to go to college, or no one in our family, even in these years now, have been to college.
Right.
Tell me this is Alexandria and Nadir. How much does fear and peer pressure play into making a life change that's going to make your situation better How much of a factor is that?
You know, it's crazy that you answer that question because Alexander told me about a book um some time ago, Atomic Habits. And in this book, the gentleman described how you could be smart, you can be intellectually inclined, but the people that you hang around, if you smarter than them, you will sacrifice that so that you can fit in. And that peer pressure is vicious. Like I know, and I can use myself as an example. In the ninth grade, I missed like 83 days out of school. That's half the school year. And all I did was just stay home and just skip just for the fun of it. So I thought. But the amazing thing or the sad part was the counselor passed me. How can you pass somebody that missed half the school year? So we had a question. How can we encourage our children to pursue education, not just college, but high school? What are we not doing? And I would have to say that it starts in the home. It starts with the community because we can't rely on the schools to do the job that should have been done leading up to them going to school. If you setting your child up for failure at home and you anticipate or you think that the school is supposed to save them, the schools, in my opinion, is so subpar now that you got the teachers really fearing the students. You got the students just straight disrespecting the teachers. So I mean, you need metal detectors at the door. So is it school or is it a pipeline to prison?
Yeah, I think it's the pipeline.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you think you get the smartest people in the world who's running the world, and you can create a missile that costs billions of dollars just for one missile, but you can't fix education. You can't fix crime. That don't make any sense to me. But I think that when you say you want to do something because other people are doing it, that fear, but in the educational system, those three things are things that you got to think about that you don't tell anybody else about, right? That you're dealing with for yourself. And then not only that, the school system is really it's like supplemental income. You see what I'm saying? Basically, it's to support what you already doing. So at home, you get the education and school supplements that. Just like if you make money, then supplemental income come in, right? It's supporting you, not necessarily it's a full-time thing. I think parents are leaving it to the school to say, hey, here, learn everything. The teacher, you didn't learn anything in school? Yeah, I'm supposed to learn at home. And then the school, whatever the school, I'm gonna add that to whatever you're teaching me at home. But you let me do whatever I want. So I'm gonna let my friends influence of that, and then social media and entertainment teach me.
Right. Alexander, we share, along with Gene, we share the videos of the young people, particularly of Asian descent, doing some amazing things at young ages.
Right.
Why do you think those countries or those ethnicities prioritize preparing their children more so than what we experience? You know what I'm saying? We work with a lot of our own people.
Right.
Why do you think that the other countries prioritize education?
Okay, what we have, this is going to be a real quick lesson. We have to go back to where China was, Japan, and those Asian countries when they were attacked. We got to remember while Mao Zedong became the leader, because the European nations flooded them with opium and drugs. Look at Japan; they destroyed the whole country. Wherever imperialism is, if you notice that today's society, they have made a serious rebound in overcoming everything and master technology and mastering certain things, education, because they said they would never ever go through this again. The thing about that is, and we see it now, we're still third class citizens. And because a lot of us forgot our history, we're going back through the 40s, 50s, and 60s in our treatment. So Chief is reliving when he was an adult at a young age, and we're reliving what we did or went through and not really paid attention to or knew better in the 60s, because we're there in the early parts in the transition. So when we look at their transitioning for education and wanting to overcome, that's why. I mean, China has a thing called 2035. It's talking about where they're going to rule the world at that point. And what are they doing? They educating their children in a way and keeping them in a shape in a way to do just what their mission is. Our children are obese. They on TikTok. They doing everything other than, and where is that stuff coming from? You know what I mean? Me and you talked earlier today, and people will say, man, what the hell is he talking about? How is it that we in PG County, because I know we're on the battlefield, and anybody that's on the battlefield, thumbs up, kudos, clapping for you.
Hey, let me say this to you, bro. Please don't say PG County. Say Prince George's County.
All right.
Okay, my bad. I'm a city boy. You know, a city folk.
Hey, it used to be PG County back in the day, but today it's Prince George's County.
Yeah, you can't misrepresent what PG is versus what's Prince George's County.
Right.
So,
Right.
Okay, gorgeous Prince George's.
Exactly.
Okay, while we so gorgeous, our educational system is stuck between Baltimore County and Baltimore City.
Point well taken. Listen,
right. Yeah.
I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he went to talk to some youth during the Black History Month, which, by the way, 28 days. 28 days. So, but that's another topic for another time. And you know, he talking about the people that paved the way for us. Well, the youngins is like, we don't know nothing about no Harriet Tubman. Malcolm X who? Martin Luther King what? That's a street. We ain't trying to hear that. We get on the back of the bus anyway because that's where we want to sit. So old models don't work with this generation. So a panelist asks, is our people stuck in the slave mentality? I don't think so, because they don't even want to recognize that was a part of where they came from. They don't understand that. I just think that we are not taking advantage of what the technologies that we have are supposed to really and truly be for. We sleep with the technology. We eat with the technology, but we using it like it's a toy, like it's a game, it's fun, as opposed to recognizing how you can truly change the trajectory of your life, your family life, and other people around you if you really zone into it. You know, I keep playing back and forwards in my head. I seen this video. This little Asian kid was sitting on the balcony, and I know he was over like 2,000-3,000 feet away from his parents, who was in the water on canoes, and he delivered them coffee on the drone. Shorty looked like he was about 3 or 4. Then on the flip side, I got somebody that I'm close to, She get a video of her 4-year-old niece rapping to some raunchy lyrics and dancing, and they laughing like it's funny. So how do we break that cycle, man?
Okay, check this out again. If we go back into the historical aspect, if you notice, you see more and more on IG about people denouncing whether they in a D9 or all of that. But you're not denouncing paganism from the beginning, nor are you acknowledging the fact of the history and how we had to overcome. For instance, if we look at the AME Church, right? My favorite dude is Henry McNeil Turner, the bishop. Absolutely, the baddest black man I know in America.
Let me say this, Alexander. Oh, I thought the microphone strangler was about to come in. I was gonna let him on the stage, but he disappeared on us.
Okay. Now, when we dealing with Henry McNeil Turner, before that, when we dealing with Richard Allen and all of them, right? What did they have to do to establish the AME Church? What did Prince Hall have to do in order to establish the Masonry so we can have free and be able to run up to Canada? What did we have to do outside of the NAACP, because that's Eurocentric in nature and in its beginning? What did we have to do to establish who we are in these colleges? Because we forgot that in those times, what were we focusing on? Education, employment, and healthcare. Things that we didn't have because we didn't have anybody suitable to do those things. These people have us worried about all of this stuff that does not matter. And these are things that the Chinese people, the Latin Americans don't think about. White folks sure don't denounce who they went to school with or their frats and all of that. But we're so caught up on nothing. They got us absolutely still bamboozled, hoodwinked, like we back in the 60s dealing with Malcolm. But now we got letters behind our names as if we're genius. And you know, and in our space, we are working to help one another. But how much opposition do we have in our space? Working with
opposition. Hey, look, opposition or snakes.
Bruh, this is a fight. Look at how much y'all have to deal with. Look at how much opposition Chief has to deal with. And he's been dealing with it since, you know, the time of, you know, St. Augustine and all of them people. You know what I mean? So,
Jesus.
Since like 1817.
So
1 AD.
I thought this may be a good time. Alexander took me back to what 1700s, 1800s. First of all, good evening, gentlemen. It's always good seeing you all.
Likewise.
A great show, and you're only halfway through it. Talking about what is so wrong and how did it get so wrong? And that is a question that when we talk about the people here in Prince George's County, and I just want to quickly say this. If we can go from calling this PG County, why can't we do things about making Prince George's County the things we claim that it is? In other words, we can change the mindset if that's what we want to do and if that's what we're taught to do. But back to this. Nadir, I am one who I don't like hearing about or hearing people refer to slave mentality. But there are some aspects of slavery that we simply have not been able to shed, and it is by design. Now, you all are having a great show, you all. But I don't want us to skip around the part of this that is actually hindering us today out in the open. When I think of slave mentality, that was a time when And you got to deal with it. Come on, I mean, if you're going to talk about Prince George's County and the things that are not, these are national things. It's not just happening here in Prince George's County. It's happening in Black communities across this country. What the conversation has got to be about is this thing called, and you got to hear me now,
Slavery.
Make America Great Again. When did white America see America being the greatest? When there were slaves doing their bidding. And how did they keep them doing their bidding? You saw the movie, or y'all might be too young, except Alexander, he probably helped to write it, but y'all saw the movie. y'all saw the movie Roots. They cut your leg off if they caught you trying to learn how to read. Because reading is what? We hear it every day. Reading is what, Gene? Fundamental. If you cannot read, you almost, and in a day and time, in technical times, you almost cannot do anything. So when we're talking about what is wrong here, you referenced, Alexander, the Prince George's County school system being stuck between Baltimore City and Baltimore County. No, Alexander, that's not true. Baltimore City now rates higher than we do. There's something inherently wrong with that. But come, gentlemen, come on and listen to me. Those white folks hear you talking about the most prestigious African-American county in the country. You hear that, and it sounds great. But you think that person downtown who wants to make America white again, make America great again, you think that's okay with him?
Well,
but hear me out. You got to hear me. Carter G. Woodson, and I referenced this last time I was on. Carter G. Woodson told us 130 years ago, you fight for this desegregation to send your children to their schools. But they're only going to teach your children what they want your children to learn. If you teach somebody what you want them to learn, the question becomes, what are you not teaching them? This is what is wrong here. Our school system somehow has become so corrupt, unintentionally maybe, that we're not teaching our children much of anything. Y'all talk about China and Japan and all those places. I got to take you right over to Montgomery County. You know, we in our youth group about 5 years ago, we did a comparison. We had the children do a comparison with Montgomery County, Fairfax County, and there was another Northern Virginia county versus Prince George's County. The children determined that in Prince George's County, our parents pay more money in taxes, but our education system is at the bottom of the list. In the county, the last stats I heard, our schools are not scoring proficiency in anything, in nothing.
So Chief, can I?
It's going to happen when you all reference the pipeline. That pipeline is by design. It ain't no mistake. It didn't just show up one day. Gene, you and I have talked about this before. Prisons are big business. Commodities. They need people in those prisons, no different than when white America needed slaves. This is a great conversation you all are having. But I think sometimes we are to some degree reluctant to look at what really is. He killed the Department of Education. How do you think he did it? He fired those government employees. He knew who was going to suffer. He didn't need those people making money so they had time to educate their children and the funds to educate their children. So
that part, it's bigger than that, though. It's bigger than that.
Excuse me.
It's bigger than that,
Let's
Chief.
not miss the elephant in the room. Make America White Again is exactly What and it ain't, people say it's him. He ain't a him. It's them. Your
So
children, if we talk to our children about this, Gene, you know this. Competition is the best thing that can happen to young people, Alexander. What happens when your children cannot even compete? What do you think that does to their mental positioning, their attitude? When they know they cannot even compete, you think these children don't know they can't read? They don't apply for jobs because they know they can't even read what's on the application. That's not a mistake. You ever looked at one of these applications, Gene, and realized you needed more than your college education just to fill it out? But you look over your shoulder while you're in the interview
Federal
room
government.
and you see this little 21-year-old white boy walking around giving orders.
so
Let's talk
Chief,
about that elephant in the room.
Well, that's easy
It
for
is a
me.
problem. And our people, y'all in Prince George's County, these folks who want everybody to believe they arrived with a silver spoon in their mouth, need to be brought to the table of reality. They're killing
so
our children.
so I wanted to chime in on that, Chief, because you said
Nadir is muted. That's probably a good thing. So listen, I just that I think the conversation is great. These kind of conversations, Alexander, I can't stay out of. I am a product of the '60s.
But you took 30
Listen, I
minutes.
said to Nadir,
hey
You took
Chief,
the slow one.
Alexander,
You
when I
got
was
that
young,
change now.
it didn't make
something
no
wrong with
difference
the
where
watch.
daddy was or where grandma was. You better go to school.
It's a coup. It's a coup. Coup
Hey,
You
d'etat
better
on
get to
the
school.
podcast.
But today, Nadir said he stayed home for 83 days. Didn't nobody know he was there? Nadir, I'm going to give it back to you.
thank you. Thank you very much
Right.
for
Show over.
for taking for taking the mic and choking it like you normally do. Now, because you've been in this space for such a very long time, I would have thought that they would have gave you a watch when you retired, but obviously they didn't. Needless to say, my question would be to him before he chimed out is we have leadership, and many of the leadership in Prince George's County look like us, talk like us, and yet he quoted the numbers that we behind Baltimore City. Now y'all know I lived in Baltimore for the last 30 years. And when you ride around Baltimore City, it's a stark difference between riding around PG County. And you lived up Baltimore too as well, Gene. So for us to be behind the city that allegedly reads, because that's what they still got on the chairs at the bus stops up there, when in fact many of the kids are truant as well. My question to y'all, gentlemen, and before y'all answer, we notice that the leadership in Prince George's County is changing. They have the same shade as us, but they have a different language. They have a different background. They have a different ethnicity. So how is that going to help our people moving forward? Because, I mean, truth be told, if you from Los Angeles and you move to Prince George's County, you still from Los Angeles. So when people from Los Angeles come over here, you can connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
How is the leadership going to help our children arrive and understand that education is important? Education is a must.
Okay, check this out.
Especially since real
thing.
quick, especially since one of the panelists said that the homes are broken.
Right. Okay. When I go into them schools, and you know I've been dealing with the AP classes and things like that, and we see a lot of the Latinos, and we see a lot of the African students, and we know that we have a lot of African candidates now.
My point exactly.
The challenge with the African candidates is the African children adjusting to American culture because they starting to get locked up. They have started accepting the culture of Americans, and so they're not looking to go to school to be them lawyers, doctors, and things like that. You have a great deal of them getting caught up into the culture of the rap and everything else, the robberies in the school and the things. That's not all of them, but you have a lot that is transitioning, like the Latino kid that's coming from El Salvador, Mexico, and all those places. They are becoming Americanized, and that's causing their communities to suffer as well. We cannot blame anybody coming from somewhere else to strive to make their community better. That is our fault for not making our own community better, because we have the history. Now, a lot of these people that's coming from these other countries been lied to and saying that we basically volunteered and we're not doing this and we're not doing that. To a point, we gave up. There's very few in comparison to the many that still care enough about ourselves that we'll talk about our history. You know, I respect the fact that Carter G. Woodson did what he did all the way back then, because we didn't have that. We didn't have those magazines to talk about greatness or the books. I got one of the books on the shelf from back in the day. That was when Chief was about 3. So, you know, so when we looking at that stuff and we have it,
Hey,
you know,
hey, Gene, Alexander pick up real quick.
Oh yeah, facts.
Definitely gotta get him back, Alexander.
Right, you gotta get him. You gotta, especially when you're not on the mic.
Man, so I'm looking at it from this way. You want me to say Prince George's, right?
That's what they want you to say.
The devil is a lie, because if we don't have Baltimore City, I can't say Prince nothing. It's PG.
Right.
Hey, look. Don't
Call me
don't
Uncle
get
Ray
our
Ray,
sponsor-
Uncle
Don't
Willie.
get our sponsorship cut off before we get sponsorship.
Okay, my bad.
But hey,
George's,
you know what?
Prince George's.
Yeah, so my perspective on that, and every time we talk, I mention perception, right? We think that we're not into slavery because we're not bound physically, but they don't understand mental slavery. When desegregation happened, then we said, oh, we'll drop our black businesses and so we can be quote unquote accepted. And then when we got accepted, then they put in those restrictions. So we put in the restrictions. Now we think, oh, we getting the same lifestyle they have, and we don't. But the perception is everything, right? So if the powers that be that run this Prince George's County or any state or any federal agency, there's a system. We don't have a system. We need a system. Like we need a black constitution. We need black Bill of Rights. We need all those things that say that we have a standard. But because of those restrictions from segregation or desegregation or slavery or Jim Crow, any of those restrictions they had after slavery, going back to 1865, then we have been fragmented. We've been frazzled to the point we can't grab for anything because every time we try to grab for something, they move it. So in order to get a sound, we need a system. To have a system just like they got a system. The educational system, yeah, it don't work, but it's a system. That's why we can't break it. So us as blacks need to have a system where black people, black men actually have the knowledge, whether they're a police officer, whether they're a lawyer, whether they're a doctor, whatever, they're passing that information in a system to somebody who does not know, right? And then that's educating the youth that don't have fathers in the realm, right? But then also the powers that be, those in position, need to advertise positivity. You should see billboards years ago. You see positivity billboards. You ain't seen a positive billboard in 30 years now. Oh, peace. Hey, love. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Support. You don't see that.
You got Alexander going through his book collection,
Right.
but
Why are we still living miseducation of the Negro?
Yeah, because
College
you
we
have
down this.
that jumped over 100 years ago almost.
We almost down to the final hour. But let me ask, and either one of y'all can answer this question if you like. The leadership has a problem with relating to our youth. And what we see in politics is that sometimes people stay around long before their time, long before they should have retired. The cycle is not turning over enough young people so that the youth in the streets can relate.
right.
Do you both agree or not that that system, that political system for Prince George's County and many other counties is broke? It's like they're taking advantage of extended job positions, if you will.
Yes. So on that note, when you follow the money, the state or the federal government do not make any money on their own. They print it. So because they print, then they're all waiting for the bag. They get the bag, and then we work to get the bag. And after we get the bag, then we pay taxes on that bag, and we try to live our life in entertainment to enjoy it. But these politicians work for the state. So they're getting a salary off the bag. But if nobody worked to get that bag. So in that political system, the person who gave them the money controlled the system. So I'm going to give you that $100,000, $200,000 job, but you got to say this. You got to do this. You can't do this over here. You got to follow exactly how I scripted it. And if your school system is falling, then hey, that's the family, that's the parents' fault. Because guess what? They pushed us out the house. We're working 60 hours a week. You know, the kids got to play some kind of sport because they took it out of school, right? So you can't have fun in school anymore. Recess gone, right? So you can't relax. So at the same time, now you set up all these systems that we don't even know that it's related to the money. And then you take away the fathers out of the house. Now you can dictate to the mother because she got a nice little title. She good. In Prince George's County, the reason why Prince George's County doing worse than Baltimore City, because we already knew Baltimore City was jacked up. They just needed to try to find a way to fix it. Prince George's County has this perception that they made it. And they have these federal jobs and they make $100,000 a year, but the powers that be are going to keep putting their hands in there and changing the direction of the current that we think is still good when it's not. So you're sitting on 120,000, you don't have a father in the house, and then your kids are learning from their social media, and then you haven't poured anything into that child. That child has been buying Uber Eats and spending $50 for something that probably costs $10.
Well, Gene, you definitely made some valid points. We down to that last minute. So in a few words, how we gonna close it out? Let the audience know how you feel about the conversation because it was a great one. We needed to have it. We might have to do round 2. So final words, Gene.
We need to build a system, and that system is police department working with the citizens working with the police department, the school system working with the police department, the politicians working with the school system, and the community, and saying, okay, this is what we all going to agree on. And the UCC code, we all going to agree that this should be acceptable or not acceptable.
You having some technical difficulties with your phone. I mean, with your microphone. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I got the gist of what you're saying. I hope the public heard what you said, because, you know, we come together at the turnaround table, real
Well,
people with real concerns, real voices. Alexander, what you got to leave us with, bruh? Oh, Alexander had to pick up a call. So I'm gonna say that I definitely believe that we need our politician rotating so that the youth can relate to them. I just believe that this the political system is out of touch for the youth, and that's the reason why they're not having an impact with them.
I think
Um, that's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong, but I think that we need to get more people in that space so they can start being an advocate for their peers. What you
I
got to
think
say,
that
bro?
I think that we have some older people that understand, because that's why we have Geo. That's why we can work with Geo and like with the back on track to enhance what that is and to go into the school, because some of us that are the elders, we understand what's going on and how we can help them. The whole thing is some of the schools, and we're not going to say which ones, but some of the school administrators feel like that's a threat, because we're using our lived experience going into some of these schools, and that's what's saving those children from going down our path. But they think that that's making a negative impact. All we're doing is really reliving the Willie Lynch syndrome if we're going to deal with the mentality. And because we are so willful in that, we can work better together than separate. Let me do my job so you can do your job. I don't want the babies to go to prison to do 26 years. I done did that. I still got 600 years over my head. I done did that. I can give a whole school my time. But if you're the administrator and you're an educator, let me save them so you can give them that route to school, to the vocational, and all of that. That's where we need to be able to communicate to be effective. And we got the type of teamwork that does that.
Well, listeners, you heard it. The man is about his business. And teachers, principals, if you're out there in Prince George's County, Alexander Campbell is the man to bring to your school and help you shape things up. We definitely are here every Thursday to talk about real discussions from real people that have real concerns. On that note, we got to close out because our time is up. We see y'all next Thursday. I always appreciate you, gentlemen. Much love and respect to y'all.
One last thing, Nadia.
What's that?
Chief said we keep talking about the president saying make America great again. We got to own it for ourselves and how we're gonna make it great for ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Enough said, gentlemen. I see y'all on the other side.
Later.
Which stands for Business of Prosperity. I am grateful for a second chance on life. I must be consistent and persistent to push through the resistance while standing on the 7 keys to success. Number 1, understand that real wealth is portable. Number 2, take care of your own and they will take care